Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, pilot Jack Rulin in Skycam 16, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. The on-again, off-again restart of TMI is off again.
The whole thing, once again, is tied up in the courts. Just 2 days ago, a federal appeals court seemed to clear the way for an immediate restart of the Unit 1 reactor at 3 Mile Island, but the state of Pennsylvania, which has been fighting that, took quick action. It petitioned the court to go back to a ruling the court made in June that temporarily blocks TMI's opening. The court today agreed that that ruling is still in effect. The bottom line, until everything is cleared up in the courts, the Unit 1 reactor will stay shut down, as it has been since 1979, when its twin reactor at TMI suffered our nation's worst commercial nuclear accident. A popular Susquehanna County restaurant is in ruins tonight after an overnight fire. In Clifford, near the Lackawanna County line, the Mountain View restaurant was ablaze just after 2:30 this morning. Flames were shooting up 30 feet into the air at a time. A woman living down the street tells us what she heard.
Well, if you've ever heard a car accident, if you've been sitting in your house, that's what it was like. It was like an explosion, kind of, and I could hear glass, as if glass were breaking.
Skycam 16 shows us the ruins of the Mountain View restaurant this morning. Owner Don Edwards says it's a $250,000 loss, but it was insured. Newswatch 16's Valerie Devine went to Clifford today to find out how people are reacting to what has happened.
They stopped their cars along Main Street. Some even got out long enough to look inside the shattered windows. For many of these people curious about the fire at the Mountain View restaurant in Clifford, the harsh reality of what happened here hasn't sunk in yet.
I couldn't believe it was as bad as it is. We seen it on the early news on Channel 16 this morning, about 8 o'clock. And so we just decided we wanted to come up and just see how bad it was, and we really didn't expect it was this bad.
You feel like a part of you is been taken away, really. You know, the fellowship in the town. I think we all came most of the time for the good food he had here.
Peter Marcho originally built this restaurant 21 years ago.
Definitely we're going to miss it. Everybody's going to miss it in the community because it's well needed here. Ever since we've opened it, it's been the busiest place we've ever had in town.
But the customers aren't the only ones who feel the loss. For 40 employees, the fire has left them out of a job.
I don't know how I feel right now. I feel hurt for the family and just with the loss itself. I don't know. Not relief in any way because I'm out of a job.
I loved everybody down there. They treated me right and I treated them okay, and it was fun.
The owner of this restaurant, Don Edwards, says he plans to rebuild his business. He says this restaurant is his life, and he feels he owes it to the community to try to get back on his feet again. Valerie Devine, Newswatch 16, Clifford.
Newswatch 16 continues with help from Action 16 in settling a Social Security claim.
Plus, later on, Mike Stevens will take us on the Pennsylvania road to watch the world go by from the shade of an old oak tree.
Come on, boys. Come on.
In the universal search for great taste, it doesn't take a higher intelligence to figure out why one cola keeps changing and one is chosen. Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
If you ever felt that you were fighting a losing battle with government bureaucracy, you are not alone. Tonight, Jerry Gartenberg tells us about a Luzerne County woman who felt her family was being shortchanged by the government and turned to Action 16 for help.
Give Mommy a kiss goodbye. And a big hug.
Kenneth Barnes says with 2 kids and her studies here at the Luzerne County Community College, she doesn't have much time to spare. But for 5 years, the Wilkes-Barre student has spent more time than she cares to remember trying to collect a $357 survivor's benefit check from Social Security. A Social Security representative told Kenneth the Treasury Department had to go over records before releasing her check. But Kenneth says after countless calls and visits to the Social Security office, there seemed to be no progress, and her patience was running out.
It's too much of a demand on me to have to go to that office that many times, especially when there's college and kids and just the pressures of life altogether. Sometimes I just wanted to scream and just give up on the whole thing.
I contacted the Social Security office here in Wilkes-Barre to find out why Kenneth Barnes was still waiting for her check. 2 weeks later,
I opened my mailbox and there was the check. And I was confused at first as to how it could be in the mailbox so fast, and then I was delighted that this struggle was over.
It is ridiculous that someone would have to wait that long.
But Thomas Lavelle of the Wilkes-Barre Social Security office says he doesn't know why it took the Treasury Department 5 years to release the check. He says with over 100,000 cases, his office just can't do that kind of follow-up. Still, he didn't completely pass the buck.
I think that if Social Security and Treasury Department had taken their actions judiciously, it would have resolved itself and much sooner than it had.
You could say that again. Now, if you feel your complaint's gotten buried somewhere, speak up, follow up, and by all means, don't give up. But if you still feel you have no place to turn, this is the place to turn to, Action 16. We're at Box 16 in Avoca, Pennsylvania. The zip is 18641. Karen?
Thank you, Jerry. Last night we told you that the district attorney in Schuylkill County is banning all X-rated videos in his county. And he says store owners who sell X-rated tapes will be arrested. Today, Newswatch 16's Bob Costantini talked with a DA in a neighboring county to see if he's going to follow suit.
There's only one video cassette rental store in Mount Carmel, and yes, you can rent X-rated movies here. But the owners of this and other video rental stores throughout Northumberland County don't have to worry about any attempt to close them down. County District Attorney Robert Sakavage in his Mount Carmel office says he sees no laws broken at any of the shops.
There are no marquees on the sidewalks. There are no vivid pictures, no inducements that would attract anyone to come in, and especially, and my concern and the community's concern, that would attract and affect young people.
The DA says X-rated movie rentals hit at the very heart of the First Amendment, not by prying into what people see and do in the privacy of their homes, but in dealing with general community standards about how the films are rented.
Well, everybody has their own opinion what to watch, right?
That brings up the problem of determining community standards when there are many different opinions.
As long as they're not distributing them to minors or breaking any laws and not displaying them out in the open where they could be viewed by minors, I see no problem with it.
Well, I think there's too much smut for kids. It's corrupting their morals.
But the DA says X-rated cassettes are not readily available to minors and plans no crackdown in Northumberland County. Bob Costantini, Newswatch 16, Mount Carmel.
The results of our Newswatch 16 telephone survey last night are mixed when it comes to a crackdown on X-rated videos. Last night we asked whether your district attorney should force X-rated video out of your county. 55% of those who called into our unscientific survey said yes, while 45% who answered say no.
Meteorologist Paul Hepner is in for Tom Clark next with the Weather Watch.
And everybody's thinking about the holiday weekend, the last one of the summer season, Paul.
Yeah, for a lot of folks, this is the last big fling of the season.
Right.
To put up the camper or things like that, yeah. Looks like we have a nice weekend coming up, but I'll tell you the reason why I would want to live on the Gulf of Mexico tonight.
To be frank about it, I've had more response from television commercials than I have any other form of communication or form of advertising. I think it's because so many people watch television and they like to see people on there that they know, or I'll always get comments that, oh, I saw you on TV last week, or what have you. So it's definitely produced more response.
Television advertising, it works.
All right, let's find out about Florida's weather, as well as our weekend ahead. Meteorologist Paul Hepner.
Well, Florida is battening down the hatches, and also they're battening down the hatches further to the west along the Gulf of Mexico from Louisiana through Alabama and Mississippi, thanks to what has now become Hurricane Elena. We'll check that out in just a moment. But let's see what's happening in the backyard. Temperature-wise, we have a pleasant reading that today is in the mid-70s. Relative humidity at this hour, not too bad, 47%. The wind direction, northwesterly at 5 miles per hour, but it will shift back into the southwest later on tonight. And the barometer is falling just a little bit from 30.14 inches. Today's high temperature was 75, the record high is 95, and the record low is 38, set just 3 years ago. Now, if you were an astronaut aboard the space shuttle, this is what it would look like. That's Hurricane Elena, of course, one of the safer places to view a hurricane. A close-up view there. A very dangerous storm. Now let's take a look at a close-up satellite on our computer. And here it is, Hurricane Elena, which is now packing winds in excess of 80 miles per hour. The stats on it, 80-mile-an-hour winds. It is presently 300 miles southeast of New Orleans, and it is moving to the northwest at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Now, the latest information I received from the Hurricane Center just about a half hour ago shows that the storm now is beginning to veer a little bit to the right of its projected track. And if that's the case, it may present more of a problem along the coastal sections of Alabama and Mississippi than was originally thought. Now, the storm itself started out as a tropical depression just east of Cuba, and then it became a tropical storm yesterday. This morning, it gained hurricane status as it feeds on the warm and humid air and the warm and humid waters off of the Gulf of Mexico. Now, it will continue to move to the northwest, and the reason why is the steering currents are bringing it that way, and that has prompted a hurricane warning from Morgan City, Louisiana, eastward along the coasts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, to Pensacola, Florida. So anywhere from Pensacola to Morgan City, they expect to have 75-mile-per-hour winds by sometime tomorrow morning as the storm makes landfall. Of course, it is a dangerous storm, and we will continue to take a look at it. Now, there is other weather information going on, other weather news. We'll take a look at our regular satellite picture. Some heavy rains across the Carolinas and through Texas. Our next weather system is developing now across Wisconsin and Minnesota. It will move eastward and give us a threat of rain tomorrow and for the first part of Saturday. But as I see it, a developing high-pressure system will be moving down southeast from Canada to clear us out for the second half of the weekend. My forecast for tonight calls for mild conditions. It'll be a quiet night, 57 degrees in Rummerfield, German 63. Most of the viewing area tonight, I'll step out of the way so you can see it, Aaronsburg 63 degrees, and it will be a mild night. Okay, here's a look at the sunrise and sunset for tomorrow. It'll be rising at 6:27. Sunset will be at 7:39. Mild tonight, 63 degrees. Some showers tomorrow, but clearing on Saturday. Karen and Nolan, look at this. Labor Day and Sunday looks great, 75 to 79 degrees.
That sounds good.
It'll be worth waiting for.
Okay.
Absolutely. See you in the update.
Thanks, Paul.
The Sports Watch is next with Joe Zone and the #1 team in that Super 16 countdown.
Plus highlights from today's Mets game. The Sports Watch is next.
Can we provide you with a home loan to help you buy or build the house of your dreams?
Here's an important message from your Quality Plus Ford dealer. The time for a factory-authorized 85 model clearance on all Fords in stock is now. 7.7 annual percentage rate financing on all cars, full-size pickups, and vans. Get a great clearance deal on a sleek Thunderbird or a full-size LTD Crown Victoria clearance price to sell. This is an opportunity to save you cannot afford to miss. See your Quality Plus Ford dealer now for your 85 clearance deal.
Well, we all want to know who's #1 in the Super
right.
16.
Gotta wait first because we're going to talk about pennant races. Mets and the Giants, and they're playing right now in extra innings. Let's take a look what happened earlier in today's plays. Mets try to steal a run right here. Gladden thrown out the plate, trying to steal home plate. Okay, Mets going to work now. It's a close play, but the Mets going to work. Bachman right here gets it off a single to drive in a run, and the Mets early. Remember now, they're 2.5 behind the Cards going in. It's 1-0. Gary Carter, next guy up. Here it comes. There it goes. Goodbye, home run, 2-0. Giants, though, take the lead 3-2. Mets with a sac fly, tying the 9th, 3-3 in the 10th scoreboard. Let's check it out. 3-3. They're in the 10th, trying to move to within 2. Atlanta, Chicago, 9-6. That's a final. San Diego, by the way, beat Montreal 5-1. American League. Royals and Brewers postponed because of rain. And you tell me, right? Tell me that Toronto is not looking over its shoulder. Today they picked up Cliff Johnson from Texas. Johnson's a guy the Blue Jays let go 2 years ago. They're looking for a big bat with some experience down the stretch. Johnson has 12 homers, 260 batting average. Blue Jays gave up 3 players to be named later. For the past 9 days or so, we have been counting down the teams that we think could be the top teams in the area going in. Tonight, the team you've been waiting for, the #1 team in the Super 16. Many of you know these guys because they've been here before. Out of the Big 11 Eastern Conference champs, the Valley View Cougars.
The
The Cougars won an Eastern Conference Class A championship on this very field back in December. If things go as a lot of people think they will, the Cougars will be back here again for the second straight. About a dozen people who helped Valley View to last year's championship are back. There's quarterback Gary Cruciani. He wasn't the #1 man last year. Jeff Sparks handled that spot quite nicely. Sparks is gone, and Cruciani, the junior, who started twice last year, moves in.
Gary has a real strong arm. He really has a gun for the arm, and he could throw the ball in there real well. So we have a great deal of confidence in him, Joe.
Cruciani will have people to throw to. Again, receivers who had a chance to play last season, who know how to catch the ball in a crowd. What makes Valley View such a nice team is their balance. They run and pass equally well. There's nobody to key on. And Valley View traditionally plays mean defense. Tackle Gene Delicati plans to keep that tradition intact. Weakness? Well, consistency, poise, learning how not to lose.
I think that's the character of a team. If you have that character, you have a good chance of success. If you don't, if your youngsters get rattled, if they let things get to them that they don't perform as well as possibly they're capable of, well, then you really do not have a championship team. So we're going to have to be tested in that category.
Azalea has spent 17 years in the Valley View program. He has a knack for turning out winning football teams. This Cougar group could be as good as any. Valley View, our #1 team. And tonight on the update, after the football game, we'll run down the whole 16 preseason poll. It all gets going tomorrow night. Talking about tonight's football game, it's the college opener. Boston College against last year's national champion Brigham Young, 8 o'clock here on WNEP. Boston College would like you to believe they can still play with the big boys without All-American quarterback Doug Flutie. I think they're kidding themselves. Look for a big BYU win tonight. Big is at least 2 touchdowns. Tennis, McEnroe and Becker won today, so did Manlikova and Sukova. That's all of it. Give tonight your best shot. I'll see you after the football game.
Joe, how many high school teams did you consider for the top 16?
141.
Wow. Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
You.
Okay.
Mike Stevens will take us on the Pennsylvania Road next.
Tonight we'll go to Wapwalapan to measure the notches on the clock. Stay with us.
Yuengling was brewing premium beer back in 1956, in 1919, in 1860, and all the way back to 1829. 5 generations of the Yuengling family have been helping America quench her thirst for over a century and a half. What a tradition. What a great beer. Yuengling, America's oldest, is still America's best. And that's a promise from Dick Yuengling himself.
Come on, boys. Come on.
In the universal search for great taste, it doesn't take a higher intelligence to figure out why one cola keeps changing and one is chosen. Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
Finally, our man on the Pennsylvania Road, Mike Stevens, thought this was a good time to stop for a while in Luzerne County. A good time to stop under a shady tree and watch the world go by.
How old do you feel, Mr. Fox? You're 85.
Oh, sometimes I feel like about 175, but maybe tomorrow is only about 16.
Life, when you think about it, is a bunch of little things. A birthday here, your kid's graduation, a wedding. The day your old dog died, each a notch on the clock. Suddenly, the clock reads 85. Isn't it funny how that happens?
Ain't gonna live forever. I guess not.
Nobody has yet.
Don't intend to get as old as Methuselah.
Edison Fox came here at middle age and never left. Edison never really had a job, as we know it all those years. He'd pick up work where he could find it, yet he managed to raise a family and to mark all those little notches on his clock.
Well, he just lived from hand to mouth, I guess. You get $1 and you go and buy something to eat. Don't get it, sometimes you get a little help somewhere.
Edison Fox these days makes tool handles, some wooden wheels, Not too many, and not too often.
You guarantee all your work, do you?
No.
Oh.
If you want something better, let them go and get it. Why should I worry about it?
If you spend a little time with Edison in his shop, a shop that smells of wood chips and machine oil, you begin to think of where you're going, to think of how many more notches there are to make on your own personal clock.
I'm afraid of getting old myself.
I was afraid one time, too. Now I don't care anymore. I don't care if I fall down today or tomorrow.
And you begin to think that it just may be true that you know you're old when dreams are replaced by regrets.
I don't know if I'll make it in here for another 5 years or not. Sometimes I don't care.
Edison Fox and the little things of his life and mine and yours. Funny how they add up, isn't it? I'm Mike Stevens, Newswatch 16, on the Pennsylvania Road in Wapwallopin.
And that's Newswatch 16 for this Thursday.
Enjoy your evening.